So you want me to check like who are the best counters, right? So this is going to be a counter Orisa tier list. Okay, we're going to make, this is my opinion. I do have a lot of experience with Orisa in Overwatch 1. In Overwatch 2, I do like a little bit of experience, so forgive me if my point of view is not the same as yours. And I don't think Ana counters a lot Orisa, just because Orisa has Fortify. Orisa can eat. Orisa can eat the nade, can eat the sleep. If you're having trouble against Ana as Orisa, it's because probably you're going aggressive when you shouldn't. That's my personal opinion. So I'm going to put it in C tier. Ashe does counter Orisa just because of the range. High ground, Orisa can't do much. But Orisa has the ability. Orisa does have range to like affect her. And there's our shift that can stop. That can stop the fortify that can stop her shift, right? Also, Bob can be useless if you just E Bob. But range. I'm gonna give her a B tier just because I think most heroes are gonna be very low tier. There's only few that will counter Orisa hard. But usually, for example, when you play Ashe, you're not, oh shit, they have Orisa, I'm dead. No. You have, like, Ashe, just range is pretty much like the strengths that she has against Orisa, but Orisa is okay just because she also has range. Okay, Bap. Bap can counter Orisa ulti, right? Bap has range. Bap can do damage to Orisa. I think Bap is better than Ana, in my opinion, just because of the higher damage he has. And Orisa can melt because of the window, although Orisa can hit it. But I don't think it's going to be a big trouble. It can go high ground, can make Orisa useless because of that, which is super strong. Immortality field, sometimes Orisa commits, right? And he can Immortality field. He also counters Orisa ulti, so I'm going to put him in B tier, but I don't think it's like a super hard counter because he's a support after all. And every tank like can roll every support besides Zen. I think this is a skill matchup. I think it's a skill matchup. I think it can be problematic. Again, I'm going to put him in B tier. It can be problematic if you're using your cooldowns wrong. The same as Ashe. But Bastion kind of melts every tank. I think D.Va is a little bit better against Bastion than Orisa, I feel like. Because Matrix lasts longer. So I might put him in A tier. I would put him between B and A. If you're a good Orisa, probably B. If you're a bad Orisa, probably A. Because Orisa can eat his ulti and his damage for a couple of seconds, right? Brig. Brig is pretty good against Orisa, in my opinion. Because it allows her, like, as Brig, you just shift your Orisa. You should never be dying against Orisa. And it can be annoying killing anyone against Brig. Like, Brig just farms Orisa, in my opinion, if you're a good Brig. You shift her. Like, you can never kill a good Brig. But at the same time, you have the Fortify, you know? You have the Fortify. So it's not like Brig is going to be a super dangerous hero against it, you know? But at the same time, whenever I play Brig and I see an Orisa, oh, this should be easy. You know, Orisa's strength is brawling. And Brig's strength is brawling. But I think Orisa, Brig should win that matchup. Cassidy. I think it's at the same level than Ashe. It's okay if the Cassidy has good, although Cassidy doesn't have like super long range like maybe Ashe, but at the same time he does have the range. I think I'm gonna put pretty much every hit scan here just because of the range. Doomfist, okay. Doomfist is D tier. A good Orisa will always like destroy a good Doomfist, but it's not like that Orisa can just like completely destroy Doomfist. If you're a good Doomfist, you're probably going to put it in C tier, but most likely D tier. Okay, D.Va. D.Va is the best character in the game, as well as Zen. D.Va can get high ground. D.Va can just dive the supports. D.Va can pretty much ignore Orisa. D.Va is just a better tank than Orisa. More armor, more mobility, more abilities, more powerful abilities. Orisa sometimes feels like a lower version of what D.Va is, okay? Like, Orisa range is not good enough to satisfy. I'm gonna put her in C tier. Echo, also C tier. And like any flying character is gonna be S tier against Orisa. Because you can copy Orisa, which is super strong. You should never have a trouble as Orisa. As Echo, you should never have trouble against Orisa. Genji. Genji is pretty weak against Orisa. Genji relies on getting close range to do like a lot of damage, and Orisa can completely stop him. Like Blade does nothing to Orisa. You can even pull him when he blades. Pretty strong. Hanzo is pretty good. I would say Hanzo is even better than other hit scans because how much that he can one-shot the tank from far away, which Cassidy cannot do. His dragon is good against Orisa. It doesn't matter if you fortify, you still take a lot of damage. Although she can hit the dragon, it's pretty hard. Hanzo just gets high ground, wall climb, so Orisa should never kill Hanzo, in my opinion, unless you stun him across the map and maybe. Junker Queen. This is an interesting matchup. I think she's okay against Orisa, but I think it's for the weak side, just because you can cancel her ulti. And I feel like if you're good at eating your shots, like, since Junker Queen is a brawler, right? Orisa is one of the best brawler tanks in the game. And that's why I'm going to put her here, because maybe put her here just because of the shotgun. Like, the shotgun is pretty good, but at the same time, you just have 2 or 3 abilities that, like, prevents that. The Immortality Field, the stun, and the E kind of prevents you from doing that. I would put it in between C and B. If you're good with Junker Queen, like really good, you put it on B. But if you just like average, I'll put it on C because you're going to get rolled. You're going to get out-brawled most likely, so yeah. Junk is pretty good. Junk, although Orisa can do a lot against Junk, just because Junk is like a very good brawler up close, Orisa does have the ability to stop him though. But usually if they play Orisa and they have, like if you play Orisa and they have Junk, you're gonna have a hard time because it's so easy, because like Orisa has a super high hitbox and you need to be careful of the eye spam damage. And Orisa doesn't have a shield. So if you're pretty good with Orisa, probably B. But if you're like mid-range, probably A. Kiriko is okay. Kiriko is okay against Orisa. Because you can cleanse the stun, you can cleanse the ulti. That makes her like a little bit yikes. You should never be able to kill a good Kiriko because she can get high ground. I would put her in A if you're really good as Kiriko. I might put her in A actually, because if you're very good at Kiriko, I feel like it's definitely A. If you're bad, it will be B. I feel like she does counter super well, but you need very good skill, good timings on the Suzu, good headshots, and I feel like that's not easy. Yeah, Lucio is pretty bad against... because Lucio relies on brawling, and Orisa completely stops that. May's pretty good, because May's pretty brawly, but Orisa has the ability to stop her. She can hit Mei ulti and can make the Mei ulti completely useless by just shift, right? But she's not bad. If you're a good Mei, I think you're not gonna have a lot of trouble if you're good. But you're probably gonna get stunned. Your ulti are not gonna be good against her. Just because her left click is okay against her and really good brawling, I'm gonna put her in B. Mercy is pretty bad against Orisa. The damage boost might be good, but you should never have trouble against an Orisa. Besides, Orisa can stop the rest with her boop and with her stun. Mor is pretty weak against Orisa too, in my opinion. No utility to stop her. So I'm going to put her there. Yeah, somebody's going to be... We're going to get there. We're going to get there. Orisa against Orisa, it's an even matchup. It's about like skill-wise. So I'm just going to put it in B tier. That is a mid tier. Okay? Far S tier. Any flying character is very good. Again, I'm going to put Mercy here. But if Mercy has a flying character, she's going to go there, okay? But that doesn't happen all the time. So I'm going to put her as Mercy alone as a hero. Ramatra is pretty decent. I'm going to put him B, but if you're average, Ramatra is going to be B, C, okay? Ramatra is really good brawling. But again, Orisa is the king of brawling. But at the same time, if you're a good Ramatra, you should never be dying to Orisa. I do believe that Orisa counters Ramatra ulti in a lot of ways, so just be aware of that. I might put him in C, but because Ramatra is okay brawling, I'm going to put him in B, okay? Reaper is good, but again, Orisa has the CC and the stun and the hit ability. But Reaper is not bad. If you're a good Reaper, like if you're an insane Reaper, I would even put in B, just because he can melt tanks. If Reaper wasn't good against tanks, I'll put him in C or C or D tier. But he's very good against tanks, so it's like a matchup, okay? Reinhardt. Again, Reinhardt is very good against brawling. I think a good Rain can do stuff to Orisa, but not good stuff. Not so good. Because Rain doesn't have CC. It has his stun and his shatter, his charge and his shatter. And Orisa kind of stops that. I might put him in C tier. I feel like Orisa is a hard counter to Reinhardt, not gonna lie. Because Reinhardt relies being super close, and Orisa can kite that absolutely. And if you do go for a swing, you get the stun and the boop. And when you shatter, like, you can just shift when he has shatter. So Rain kind of gets hard counter, in my opinion. Og is also pretty bad against Orisa. I think it's also, if you're a very good Og, I would put him in C or B. But if you're average Og, you're going to get farmed by Orisa. Like, Orisa is the ultimate Og counter, in my opinion. Sigma is pretty good. You should never have a trouble against Orisa as Sigma. And if you do having trouble against Orisa, it's because you're failing the rock and you're not using your range. A bad Sigma would be here, a good Sigma would be B. Just because of the range. Although Orisa itself, if she's close enough, can counter because of the stun and the boop. Like, in a even skill matchup, Sigma uses range, Orisa useless. And you have a shield to stop the stun, right? Orisa doesn't have shield, so he's gonna win because of that. I think Sojourn is pretty good. Again, it's a hit scan, it's super easy to farmer. But at the same time, it's a hit scan. Like, if you get too close to Orisa, Orisa can stop you really well, can hit your ulti. But because it's a hit scan, you have the range advantage. You should be using. You should haven't that much problem against Orisa, as long as you know you don't try to brawl her out. Soldier, the same thing. Soldier is like a weaker version of Sojourn sometimes, but he's good. Like, again, you can farm on an Orisa, right? But Orisa can also, like, not die and keep you occupied. But it's not like, it's like, oh, Soldier is not a threat. Orisa is not a threat to Soldier unless you get close. The Soldier, if I don't get close, well, it's not a threat. Sombra is pretty good. I'm gonna only put her here because now you can stop her from ulting. You can stop her ulti with the new buffs this season, okay? But only because of that. If not, probably here. Only because of that, I'm gonna put her in A if you're a good one. I think you can do crazy things to Orisa because Orisa's strength is on her abilities, and if you're a good Sombra, you can stop that. Sib is a brawl character, believe it or not. And I would put her here, but just because I'm gonna leave her here. I think if you're very good Sim, even goes here. I feel like Sim can be really good at holding chokes. And if you're not careful against her, yeah, it's Pepega. But since the buff on Orisa ulti, where you can destroy, you can ulti like on shields, I think I'm going to put her in C tier. If not, I would have put her here. But I'm going to put her in C tier, just because the ulti now goes through shields. Torbjorn, pretty good in my opinion. I think Torbjorn is pretty good against Orisa. You kind of can farm the Orisa. Orisa can destroy the turret though. Your damage up close is pretty good, but again, I don't think you should always be... I don't think you should get close as Torbjorn. Is like a hit scan. Just because of the turret. Torb is a very okay brawly character, but Orisa is better, obviously. So I'm gonna put Torb in B tier. Because it's really hard to kill a Torb if he just saves your E and he puts a good turret. Besides, Orisa cannot stop Torb ulti. Can hit it, but once he's in the ground, like, you have to get away, right? Even if you're fortified. Besides, Torb does extra damage to armor. So yeah. As Tracer, you just ignore the Orisa pretty much. Tracer is one of those heroes that if you're good at her, like, you have so much mobility skill-wise. If you're good with her, A tier. If you're better with her, B tier probably, or C tier, because I might put her in B tier because if I look at her abilities, Orisa can hit the pulse bomb, Orisa can stun the Tracer. Orisa should never die to an Orisa. But again, if you're a good Tracer, you can just ignore her, right? But at the same time, if you're average Orisa, you should never ever have trouble against the Tracer. Especially if you have good aim. Widow, I think Widow is excellent against Orisa because of the range. Has better range than any other. Like if they have Orisa, you shouldn't be thinking, oh shit, they have Orisa, right? You should never have like a big trouble. Besides, I think if you go Orisa against Widow and the Widow is better, you might need to go a dive character to stop her. Just because I feel like snipers are very good against most tanks without shield. And most tanks that have no mobility. So I'm going to put her there. Again, Winston should be diving, right? If you try to play Winston as Brawl, you're going to lose. Because Orisa has the ability to stun you and boop you and so. But I think Winston is pretty good as long as you know what you're doing. The same as Tracer, kinda. But Winston has more HP. Like, Winston shouldn't be a trouble against Orisa because you can just ignore and dive their backline, right? But you need to be careful. Like, Winston doesn't have, like, Orisa doesn't have enough damage to break your bubble fast. But she has the ability to stun you if you try to brawl her. But a good Winston, an average Winston knows that you dive on their backline, you dive someone that is high ground, so you can just ignore. Pretty much any hero that can ignore Orisa, it's pretty good. It's A tier. Ball. I would put Ball here too. Usually when they have Orisa, I don't have much trouble. If you're a bad Ball, probably B. But again, Ball is also one of those tanks that can just ignore Orisa. Now, if you're a good Orisa, you can stop Ball from engaging, right? So I put in between B and A, but because I'm an excellent top 1 Ball, I'm going to put it in A tier. Whenever they have Orisa, like, I don't think too much about it. I just ignore it, go on their backline, boop her around. Just be aware that Orisa has the ability to stop Ball if he's average. So I think if you're having trouble against Orisa's Ball, you're playing him wrong. Zarya is pretty good. I think Zarya is pretty good because Zarya is like Zarya can stop the bubbles, can stop the abilities. If you're high charge, I think she can be quite good against Orisa. You just beam her down. Pretty much any tank without shields, Zarya can be good against. But again, if you see her using the bubble, you can stun her and then she might die. But a good Zarya will never waste her bubbles. Will always have one in reserve for when that happens. But I do believe that Zarya can farm a good Orisa in my opinion. Just because of the beam and if you get high charge. But it's unique. I would put her between B and A. But I'm going to put her in A. Zen, the ultimate tank counter. They have Zen as Orisa. You cannot shoot anything. You just die. Zen has range. Zen has the ability to make sure that everyone does 25% more damage. Or as Orisa, you peek. You are dead. You pick without your abilities, you are dead. You're going to have Orisa games when you're like, wait, what the fuck? I died so fast. Well, they have a Discord. Life Weaver. I think Life Weaver is going to be on A tier in my opinion because Orisa has a big hitbox. Orisa has the ability to stop the ulti from Orisa. I mean, Life Weaver has the ability to stop the ulti from Orisa because of the... you can body block her ulti. You can petal someone high ground so they don't get affected by the Orisa ulti. Also, you can pull someone when they get ulti or stunned. I think Life Weaver, it's actually pretty good. I wonder if he's going to be... just because once he gets buffed on his healing, he's going to be S tier in my opinion. Everything about him counters Orisa in my opinion. His weapon is also very good against Orisa because of the high hitbox. And you can keep a healthy range. But because his healing is not great yet, Orisa can burst down through that, although you have the pool. Should I put him in S tier? I think I'm going to put Life Weaver in S tier, actually. Because his healing doesn't really, like... you can still save someone from her ulti, which is pretty strong. But 1v1 against Orisa, Zen is Pepega. Yes, but, I mean, you can still boop her. And once you get close to Zen, you're probably dead by the time you do get close. And if you're close to Orisa as Zen, you suck at Zen. This card is too strong against anything. Because how they need to, like, create space frontline, and Zen allows that to be super hard. Okay, that's my tier list. You are happy to disagree with me? If you do disagree, well, it's opinions. We can agree to disagree. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about it. And yeah, see you next time. Thanks for the support.